What's going on, everybody? It's your boy J-Main, back checking in with the people. And look, 2017 is gone. Happy New Year, everybody. It's now January 1st, but I couldn't leave the year without doing a list about the best games I played for the year. I did beat 27 games on the year. I'll have a list posted for you guys to see. I'm kind of disappointed in myself. I wanted to, beat 30 at least games, but Persona 5, man. Persona 5 happened, dog. It's life right now, and I can't pull myself to play anything else, even if it's a short title, to pad my stats and get that list up to about 30. But hey, it is what it is, man. Again, I didn't want to leave the year without doing a list of my top games. I do want to see in the comment section what games you guys felt were the best. Now, I gotta say, I did end up beating a lot of old games this year. I don't know what it was. Probably due to the PC. This is like my first year having it, and I did go back and play a lot of games. And hey, I'm not a big fan of backwards compatibility, but when you can play a game and you can, change the state that it was in from when you played it last, it changes the whole, it changes the whole dynamic. It becomes a whole new game for me. So I played a lot of games that are, new to me, but old to y'all. Things like The First Evil Within, Persona 4 Golden, which is actually my first Persona game, period. I love that, which made me, hype for Persona 5, which is something that I'm stuck on now. So, the list is there, and I want to get into the games that I've loved this year. But before I start that, I do want to give a shout out to some honorable mentions, because this is only going to be a top 5. For starters, I got to talk about Persona 5. That game it's amazing, man. It's like Persona 4 was my first big RPG that I sunk a lot, or Japanese RPG that I sunk a lot of time into. I think I put 110 hours into Persona 4 Golden, and there's something about the loop in that game where I find myself saying, I'm just gonna do one more thing. I'm just gonna, get through one more dungeon or one more palace, and I just can't pull myself away. I just want to, upgrade my social stats. I just want to, boost up my social links. It's something about that game that keeps pulling you back. The soundtrack is great. The style of Persona 5 is awesome. The characters are great. And overall, it's just a great game. So if you haven't played any Persona game, it's not like the stories connect, so you can easily jump into Persona 5, and I highly suggest it. Moving on to my next honorable mention, I want to talk about Hellblade. Hellblade is I want to say a AA game. It's somewhere in between like an indie and a AAA, made by Ninja Theory. I'm a big fan of Ninja Theory. They did make the game Heavenly Sword for the PlayStation 3, and a couple other games that I was a big fan of. And they decided to choose a game tackling mental health issues. Now, this game, I say, definitely pushed the bar for the industry. And, just tackling subjects that people don't really talk about. Mental health is a big discussion. And I think I give them, a round of applause for bringing that into the gaming industry and showing a different way to express that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful game. The voice acting was top notch. The story, it can get a little convoluted and you can get a little lost. But I think they do a good job, reeling it all in together by the end of the game. And, the combat is pretty basic, but it's enough to get you through the game. And overall, just a great game. Soundtrack is great as well. So, yeah, check out Hellblade if you don't get a chance. It's not a long game, probably like 7 to 10 hours if you're really searching the world. It'll take you that long. So, yeah, not bad. Moving on, I got to go with Super Mario Odyssey. Now, I got to say, even though I'm putting this in my honorable mentions, Super Mario Odyssey didn't blow me away as much as many people. And when I say many people, I'm talking more like the Metacritic scores. And I know Metacritic isn't the end all be all, because at the end of the day, it's your opinion. But, it just wasn't that amazing experience that I was looking for, that I thought I would get. Super Mario Odyssey was, it's a 3D Mario game. And we haven't had one of those in a while. So it was just exciting to get back into that realm. And it got, the thing with Mario Odyssey for me is it started off a little slow, but it got better as the game went on, and it ended up being a great game. Don't get me wrong. The controls and the movement are phenomenal. The soundtrack is amazing. The style, it's Mario. You know what I'm saying? What can you not love about Mario? If I do have to say a big knock on the game, is that it's just too easy. I didn't find any really challenging things in the main game. When it came to the boss fights and stuff. The level design was dope as hell though. And the real challenge actually comes when you beat the game and a lot of the post-credit content. So overall, it's still a great game, and I would recommend it to anybody who has a Switch. It just didn't blow me away as many people said it did for them. And last on my honorable mention list, I'm going to go with Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Oh, phenomenal. Probably my favorite Uncharted behind Uncharted 2 as a complete package. Nadine and Chloe, I think the dynamic between them two was great. The visuals, the best looking Uncharted game. I know Uncharted 4 looked amazing, but they stepped it up a little bit with The Lost Legacy, and this game takes the cake. Uncharted, yeah. I mean, I'm hoping this is the last Uncharted we see for a while because, you start to get that Uncharted fatigue, but it by all means isn't a bad game at all. It's a great game. The length is actually perfect for an Uncharted game, and the pacing reminded me a lot of what we had going on in Uncharted 2. Nothing overstayed its welcome. They had one big open world area, and I got a little nervous with that because that was probably some of my least favorite stuff in Uncharted 4. But it wasn't long. It wasn't long at all. It was one chapter, and after that, you get on with back to your linear path that we know and love from the Uncharted series. So hats off to Naughty Dog. They made that game, I believe, in like a year's time, using the Uncharted 4 assets, of course, but a whole new area, a whole new story, just a whole new piece put together in about a year. So great game, and that rounds off my honorable mentions. Now to get to my top 5. Coming in at number 5, I'm going with Resident Evil 7. Oh, what can I say about Resident Evil 7? I love this damn game. I really do, and I was kind of disappointed when I had got my VR headset because, it didn't work. I had got a trial version of a VR headset, and the damn thing didn't work. I wanted to try out Resident Evil 7 because I love horror. I love being scared, and I didn't get a chance to do that. But the game itself was awesome. For me, I think the pacing was really good. I heard some complaints about, towards the end in the third act, a lot of people didn't really like it, but I did. I don't want to give away any spoilers about the game if you haven't beat it. All I got to say is just play it for yourself. It's a whole new take on Resident Evil. It's first person, and, it's different, but I think they did borrow a lot from Outlast. But with this game, you have weapons. Outlast is it's that vibe where, you don't have no weapons to rely on. You just kind of got to hide and run away from things. So I hope they keep up with this style. And I think they will. I think the reception for this game was really good. And more Resident Evil like this, Capcom. They did a great job. Number 4, I'm going to give it to Nioh. Nioh, I feel like a game was slept on this year. I put about 80, 90 hours in this game. And if you are a fan of like the Soul-style games or Ninja Gaiden, I think you'll be right at home playing this game. It's tough as nails. The good thing about this game versus the Souls games is the different styles you can fight in. I know like with the Souls games, you do have different weapons, but I'm talking literally about like stances with this game. There's different stances that use up a different amount of stamina, but they're key for different enemies. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of variety in this game with weapons, with stances, with magic. And it's hard as shit. Like, I'm telling you, like, you get towards the end of the game and they start throwing 2 bosses at you that, even when you were fighting one, it was pretty tough. They start throwing 2 of them at you at once, and you really have to take advantage of the different styles and the different, items and the different weapons in the game. So if you really want to, get good, you have to expand yourself. And I like the thing about me is I like to stick with one type of weapon, so I did have a tough time with those bosses. I do want to go back and like do the DLC for that game, but that'll be at a later date. Moving on to number 3, sticking in the hard games realm, I'm going with Cuphead. Cuphead was a game that when everybody first saw it, we fell in love with the art style. It was a classic cartoon art style, and it was all hand drawn, which took this game forever to freaking come out. Like every time we saw it, everybody's like, when's the release date? When's the release date? And people almost thought that like the game's popularity ran its course. Like people didn't really care about it before it came out. But like the fickle people we are, once the game came out, the hype train was back on. And everybody was streaming this game, talking about this game. It was reviewed well. It sold well. I just hope that they can expand their team. That way we can get another Cuphead out faster than what we got before. The bosses are freaking dope, man. The dope ass bosses. Some of them gave me, I almost broke a couple controllers playing some of these bosses on Cuphead. The music is fire. Soundtrack's really good. The platforming levels, which is something that they added to the game, which made it longer to come out. It probably is the weakest aspect of the game, and I say weak, but I don't mean that like, oh my god, it's horrible. I just mean like the game is so phenomenal. If I had to pick apart something, because nothing's perfect, if I had to pick apart something personally, it would have to be the platforming levels. It just, I don't know, it didn't do nothing for me. It literally could have been a strip boss rush game, and it would have been just as phenomenal. That's its bread and butter, and they knew that. I think they just added it to give it some more content, and I don't know, be more appealing to. I wouldn't say casual base, because it's not really for casuals, but just more appealing to the general audience. You know, it's not just a boss rush game. A lot of people get turned off by that. So number 3, yes, Cuphead takes that. Getting into the final 2 games of my games. Of course, number 1 being the game of the year, but number 2, I gotta give it to Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, for the longest, I was battling between this and my number 1 game as what would be my favorite game of the year. I gotta give huge credit to Guerrilla Games for transitioning from Killzone to Horizon. It's not easy, you know, picking up or dropping a first-person shooter that you've basically been making for your whole existence as a studio, and transition into an open world action game with like RPG elements. If you ask me, it's not easy, but to me, they did a phenomenal job. A lot of people compare their open world to like a Ubisoft open world, and I can definitely see that. So if there was like a big thing that I want Guerrilla to get better with, is, you know, make their world a little bit more interactive, flesh it out more, maybe like a Witcher style. Like when it comes to open world games this year, Witcher, it probably takes the cake for me as far as what you can do in it. There's another game too, but I'll talk about that in a second. I think we all know what that is. But Witcher 3 is a phenomenal open world. But the combat in Horizon Zero Dawn, that's some really good stuff. You got these machines, you know, and I just find it amazing that they took their time to build these machines, and they have all these weak points, and you literally have to pay attention to what weapons you're using to take out certain plates, to access certain weak points, and it's like, I suggest you play this game on the hardest, not the hardest difficulty, but one of the harder difficulties, because these enemies get relentless and they do not let up. You have to use all your resources in this game, or you will get washed. You will get washed. It's not forgiven. You know, it's a beautiful game. The visuals, like Guerrilla Game, the Decima engine. Like, as far as open world games on consoles, they take, I'm gonna give it open world period. Like, it looks better than some PC games. Of course, you can't access settings and max everything out like you would on the PC, but if you were to compare an open world game on console settings on PC, I don't think anything touches this game right now on the visual aspect, especially when you factor in what they're doing with the machines and they all behave different in their key to the open world. The story for this game was really good to me. I really love the twist of it, and it leaves so many questions but answers enough questions to where you want a sequel bad, but you got enough in that first game to understand what this world is and what this world can be and who Aloy is as a character. So hats off to Guerrilla Games for putting out a phenomenal game. Definitely one of my favorite games this year, but not my favorite. I'm going to have to give number 1 to, yes, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This actually was my first ever Zelda game. Now, well, console Zelda game. I played Ages and Seasons on the Game Boy. I never beat them, but I did, you know, sink some hours into them as a kid, you know, and like, I say that, but you can't really compare these two games. Like, Zelda's a whole different style. We're years later now, and man, I was telling y'all earlier about open worlds. Like, Zelda Breath of the Wild open world, you can literally climb anything. So many times I was amazed by where I could travel and the resources that I could use within the game to get to certain places. That's probably why I give this my game of the year, because it was the one game that dropped my jaw, pause, the most. So many times playing this game, I was like, I wonder if I could do that. And then you try it and you can do it. Like, when you do that to me as a gamer, at the age that I am, you know, 25 years old, been gaming for about 20 years, you know, that's stuff that I praised in this era, in this generation, that I'm still able to be wowed by, you know, gameplay elements. It's not the prettiest looking game. It's on the Switch, which of course is not the strongest hardware, But from a gameplay aspect, it's dope as hell. The story is weak. The story in this game, it's typical Zelda, save the princess. Typical Nintendo, man. You always got to save somebody. Typical Nintendo, but hey, it is what it is, man, you know? And, you know, you can use different environments you have to adapt to as far as what you're wearing. You can cook to help get you boost, of course, to bring your health back up. And it's a lot of, you know, are they dungeons? The shrines. We're calling them shrines in this game. So many of them that I didn't even get to play yet, but the ones that I did, I thought they were pretty cool. And, you know, you get to, you get tested. And they use all aspects of this goddamn Switch, man. I tell you, you're flipping the tablet around, you're using Joy-Con. Man, it's crazy. But yeah, Nintendo, man, I'm giving Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild my game of the year. But I do want to know in the comment section, what do you guys have for your top 5 games of the year? Let me know. Of course, give your feedback on what I've said. 2018 is here. I got a lot of big things planned for the channel, and I hope you guys stick around. I did get a green screen for Christmas, so I will be streaming from the green screen starting probably, I'm going to say Wednesday. I'm pretty busy tomorrow at work, so I'm going to try and get some live streams going for you guys starting Wednesday, and, you know, get a couple test streams up, see how we can, you know, move forward in the future with getting these streams popping. But I appreciate y'all for checking me out. Make sure y'all rate the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. 2018 is here. Let's go. I'll catch y'all in my next video. Peace.